Hey, and good day. It's Cyrus for another check-in of human life. For all those aliens out there that are curious what living as a human being entails, well, I feel like this would be a pretty good representation of whatever that is. Because truth be told, I barely know what's going on, but I somehow keep showing up day after day through thick and thin, through the peaks and valleys, ups and downs. And stuff just starts to happen. Today, I've got my first studio session, so I could finally get a professional recording of one or two, maybe three of my songs. And I'm excited. I spent a bit of time this morning revisiting some of my old YouTube videos, some songs that I had written less than a month of getting sober, and it's insane just hearing spirit come through even those words and even that time, as difficult and turbulent and not knowing what the heck is going on, barely knowing up from down, left from right. And yeah, I mean, I've persevered, I've endured this race for a long time, coming up 4 years with some of these songs, and some are even older than that. But I always knew there's something about them, that there's a spiritual element in this act of creation and act of singing and songwriting. Because I really struggled, and I don't think it's everyone's experience to pray for a brain aneurysm every single night for months on end. But there are people, because if that's what I was going through, I know there's going to be millions, tens of millions of people that are having the same experience and going through cannabis-induced psychoses, being thrown through the ringer of alcoholism and drug use and abuse. And these songs are a glimmer of hope. They're shining a little bit of light. They couldn't predict the future, but they saw something in themselves. I saw something in myself to be able to create these songs that spoke to me and said, it's going to get better. It's good that you're taking note of how bad it is now. It's good that you're recording these and you're singing these, because you're going to be able to look back one day in such awe and curiosity of whoever that was and whatever strength was required to get through those really, really difficult times. Because the experience I'm having today is not even close to the experience that I had over 4 years ago. It was just a struggle fest through and through. I didn't know how to live. But I did know how to live. But I didn't know how to live. Something really incredible happened last night. And I got to see one of my dear friends perform stand-up comedy on stage for her first time. There was, my partner graciously hosted an open mic for my birthday, and my one friend volunteered to stand up and share some comedy for her very, very first time. But there's a difference being in this comfortable space surrounded by people that already love you so dearly, to going to a venue and performing stand-up comedy in front of strangers. And she crushed it. She killed it. She did so good. Her stories were so captivating. They just left me wanting to hear more and wanting to hear her develop the whatever the story is and develop her comedy, because it's just so captivating, and she's got such a deep trove of ripe life experience. And that was the best part of the night for me by far. Just seeing her shine and see her shine in a way where you can't really deny that you're shining. And she is such a beautiful spirit and such a loving soul. And it felt so good to see her embody the platform she's probably always kind of longed for. Because I'm not going to get into her story. You'll have to stay tuned for her upcoming Netflix special in 5 to 10 years. But she's gone through some shit. And I had a really beautiful conversation with another mutual friend after the fact. And comedy is such a medicinal environment, because you get to show up on stage and you get to bring whatever you're bringing, whether it's something you've prepared or something you haven't prepared. You're bringing yourself. You're standing up for yourself, and you're subjecting yourself to judgment of whatever your experiences are. And part of this conversation was just sharing how important it is to get out of your head. Because I have a tendency to feed into self-judgment and self-loathing, self-deprecation, so much self. And I almost feel justified in it because, well, you shouldn't think that way. You should think like this. Or it's bad to think like that. You should think like this. And I just feed into it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I should think like that. And then I'm thinking about me. And that's a problem, because it just perpetuates this hamster wheel. Because that's how my mind works. It's a hamster wheel, and the only way it stops spinning is when I get off. And because it's my mind, I get off when I get outside of my mind. I get to be part of this world, this environment, this reality. Proprioception. Whoa. And just how special and medicinal it is to bring something to the stage, something really traumatic or something really exciting, and just gaining a glimpse of objectivity around the thing, getting objective about who you are, getting objective about your own life experiences. And hearing my friend share her own life experiences, it was just such a joy. So anyway, I got my little tobacco cigarette here. Little tobacco. I hand roll, and it is important that I distinguish between a tobacco cigarette and a marijuana cigarette, because marijuana kills me very quickly, whereas tobacco connects me to my creator, connects me to my higher power, gets me outside here to share these words with you in a sober, clean fashion. Because cannabis that hamster wheel just starts accelerating, and it doesn't seem to ever stop. And I only get off because I've gone limp-bodied and I've spun on it unconscious for the most part, and then fly off. So anyway, God, I'm just grateful for this day, and I'm grateful for this tobacco. I'm grateful for my friends, and witnessing the inspiration transmute between people, between beating hearts and minds, and through this encouragement and love and perseverance. I'm just grateful for this tobacco here to help guide this prayer to exactly where it needs to go, all the way out to the edges of the universe, and more specifically to the hearts of people that are looking for help, that are looking for a light at the end of the tunnel, for people that don't know that life gets better and that there's a way to live that is just infinitely times greater than whatever was done before. So I just pray that these words, this energy, this vibration finds its way to exactly who needs to find it, and who's asking for it, and exactly who's not explicitly asking for it, but their hearts are asking for it. I just thank you, and I thank you for tuning in. Thy will be done. Amen. A little buddy bird up here. Birdie bud. Buddy bird. Yeah, I don't know what to expect with this studio session. I do know I believe in my songs, and I know I can do a great one take, and I don't know what to expect in a professional setting, and I'm open to learn, and my beautiful partner reminded me to have fun. To which I replied, fun, F-U-N, focused, unyielding, no nonsense. That was a joke. But I'm excited for this new experience. I remember the last time I was in the studio with work. I was able to bring a group of youth out there, and we got to create a song together. And I just remember feeling, wow, I'm so over prepared for this. I have so much experience. I know, like, I'm so competent in my ability to play my songs, which, I mean, it might sound ridiculous to hear, but there's always that part of me, that self-judgment part, that's like, you could play this better. You could do a better job, as if someone else could do a better job at it. But this is my song. It was channeled through me for a reason. And maybe, people, of course, can make a cover of it one day. Maybe not. But it's really good stuff. It's really heartfelt. It's so soulful. It's not quite blues, but it goes deep. Maybe as deep as blues. And yeah, I just want to give it my all. I want to give it my 100%. And it's not going to be at the pace I'm used to, and I accept that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to what this day will bring. I'm looking forward to all the connections I get to have with people and with spirit, with great spirit. I think that is the gift of Jesus and the story of Jesus. He died on the cross, he was resurrected, and then he left. But he left and imparted all of us, each a gift. We all have a connection to God through the Holy Spirit, through Jesus. And if God could be fully man, then that means I could be part God too, and that I'm a part of God's plan. And if I'm a part of God's plan, as horrible and destructive my life was, then anyone can be a part of God's plan. And when I go about living and walking around in this world, in this life, I get to see that. I get to see God's plan in people that are sick. It's not that I was a bad person, I was just a very, very sick person. And I didn't know how to address the sickness. At first, I thought writing music was the way to go. That was how I was going to address my sickness. But it didn't heal me enough. It wasn't an all-encompassing decision that got to be made. It was just a continuation of sitting on the fence and sitting on the line, not really making a decision. Because in a sense, the decision kind of encompasses this. I could either live out under the fear of man or under the fear of God. Because ultimately, there really isn't anything to fear in God's world. God is on my side. God is creating my life to go exactly as God needs it to go. But if I'm under the fear of man, then I'm worried about judgment. How am I going to be perceived? How are my words going to come out? Is any of this even going to make any sense? And then there's all this chatter in my head, all this second guessing, all this doubt. Is this the right thing to do? Or is this the wrong thing to do? And now I get to live a life where it is simply black and white. I'm either living in spirit or I'm living in fear. And all these questions, all these thoughts that occupy my mind and maybe society and culture and all that in this world, it's just chatter, and ultimately it's just part of that darker side, the dark side of living. Yeah. It's important to believe, and to believe that anything is possible. I had to believe that I could be saved in order to be saved. I had to believe that my songs were worth something. And not something material, but something spiritual and life force giving. One of my methodologies to performing stand-up comedy is simply get up on stage, grab the mic, open my mouth, and don't close it. And whatever happens, happens. And there is so much freedom in that experience because I don't really know what I'm gonna say. I don't know how I'm gonna say it. I'm doing comedy, so it has to be done in a comedic context. And I don't know what people are gonna laugh at. I don't even know what's funny. But I'm trying, and I'm gonna open my mouth and I'm not gonna close it until it's time to close it. And I was on my walk over here to this spot, I was thinking about how dreams are similar. You know, I'm gonna dream and I'm just not gonna stop dreaming. I'm gonna believe and I'm just not gonna stop believing. And there's power in that, and there's freedom in that, and there's peace and so much love in that. So much love. So dream and don't stop dreaming. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, and I wish you a beautiful day, and I look forward to updating you on what happens today in the next video. So yeah, that's that. All right, love you lots, and we'll talk to you soon.